everybody. This is Screen Talk with Ryan Lattanzio and Ann Thompson.
Good to see you, Ann.
Good to see you, Ryan. So this is our special Oscar podcast. We're going to go through most of the categories. We're going to save the 3 short categories for next week.
I need to watch those shorts.
I'm okay. I have to finish the docs, as usual, as most people. That's always the last one. We're going to talk also about the new Oscar rules, which everyone's asking about, which has to do with you're supposed to see every movie in every category now for the first time.
Which has always been the case, but
supposed to, but now they make you fill it in.
System.
So we'll explain that. It's a pretty drastic change. So let's get to the Oscar predictions. We have a race for once.
We do, yeah. It's actually exciting and unpredictable.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's not the usual snowball down the hill where you know what's going to win in every category. Jessie Buckley is about the only one that we can actually count on. I mean, we can get the crafts fairly solid.
It's funny, there was something this week about Jessie Buckley, about how she hates cats. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, no, is that going to kill her? No,
well,
it's too
It's
late.
like when you're a man, you can be like a pedophile and a rapist and still win an Oscar, but if a woman, you don't like cats. Actually, though, I think not liking cats is kind of a red flag. But she basically said in an interview that she asked her boyfriend to rehome one of his cats before they moved in together. And of course, now they're married. So people are upset about that. No, it's not going to take her chances. No, she definitely seems like the surest bet of anybody here.
Yeah, and so you've got the 2 movies that are going against each other, one battle after another, which everybody thought was the front runner and that could not be denied. But after the Screen Actors Awards, Sinners suddenly became a viable option because it had that feel in the room. You know, they went wild when Michael B. Jordan won. They went wild when Sinners won in the room. And it reminded me of Parasite. That was the thing where it won SAG, and then it surprised everybody. It was supposed to win international. It was supposed to win writing. It wasn't supposed to go on and win picture direct because 1917 won the PGA. 1917 won the Directors Guild. So this is the comparison where you have the precursors heading in one direction and maybe a surge of sentiment going in the other.
Yeah, no, I mean, the sentiment seems veering towards Sinners at the moment, especially after the SAG Awards. I don't know if I should say this, but I also feel like probably what happened at the BAFTAs has probably scored it a few votes. I mean, Sinners deserves to win on its own terms, but this is political campaigning in the end, and I do feel like that might have had a little bit of influence.
We are referring to the Tourette's sufferer who laid out the N-word when Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting, and they handled it with dignity and grace.
Yeah, and now they're being forced to relive it in all of their interviews.
I know Delroy had to talk
I
about
saw
it.
That on NPR. Yeah. Well, let's lay out, what do we think Sinners is going to win, and what do we think One Battle After Another is going to win?
You go first.
I'm pretty positive that Sinners, this period horror musical that we basically all saw a year ago and have been talking about since, and we're kind of ready to turn the page, is definitely going to win Best Original Screenplay. It's going to be Ludwig Göransson's 3rd Best Original Score winner, no question.
There are legends of people born with the gift of making music so true it can pierce the veil between life and death, conjuring spirits from the past. Somebody take me. And the future.
And I think Francine Mazer is going to win the first Best Casting Award. And also, it definitely has a shot at winning cinematography because people, Oscar voters love making a record, and Autumn Gerald Arkapow will be the first woman to win. And then, of course, we can also talk about Ryan Coogler potentially being the first Black Best Director to win. And what do you think Sinners has a shot at?
Okay,
sure?
So I'm agreeing with you on everything you just said, and I'm going to go. Let's look at Best Picture and Best Actor later because those are iffier. They're true contests, and we don't know for sure who's going to win. So I'm going to say that One Battle After Another is going to win Best Picture. Cinematography could go to One Battle After Another because Michael Bauman won the BAFTAs and the BSC. We don't know who won the ASC. That's going to help us figure out what's going to win cinematography. A lot of people think it's Train Dreams, which I would love to have happen.
Yeah, of course.
So that it could win something. but I don't think it will.
Train Dreams won some critics awards for cinematography in the beginning, but the momentum
Spirits.
hasn't really. Oh, that's true. Well, Spirits, Train Dreams did very well.
Yes, it did. Yeah, but that's not the. I mean, there is some overlap with the Academy, but I'm confident that Paul Thomas Anderson, who has 11 Oscar nominations and no wins, he's long overdue. He's really respected and admired, and he will win Best Director and Adapted Screenplay for sure.
I'm very confident in Best Director for him as well.
Yeah, and also editing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I agree with
people
that.
always say it. That the editing. They all talk about that last sequence. That's the thing that kills them.
The sequence of
On the hills.
daughter. Oh, yes, the car
hills.
chase. The car chase in the hills. I thought you meant the sequence of Chase Infinity running off to be a revolutionary, which we can talk about that another day, but I actually think that scene was very unnecessary.
No. We're talking about the hills. The hills. But this movie has won so many of the right precursors. We've got PGA, DGA, Scripter Awards, which is predictive, BAFTA, and ACE. So I think it will win Best Picture. I do.
Just to make things interesting for myself, I'm going to say Sinners is going to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really, I know that the Academy is 11,000 people. SAG is a very different body, but you really felt the love in the room for that at SAG. I mean, part of that had to do with the sort of strategic selection of Samuel L. Jackson and Viola Davis as presenters.
Viola Davis delivered.
Yeah, but I was kind of going through recent Oscar history. There's things like La La Land, which was winning every precursor award and then didn't win Best Picture. Moonlight wasn't really winning a lot of awards at the time. These are different scale movies, of course. Then something like Spotlight, which didn't win the PGA for Best Film, and that went to The Big Short of all things. And then there were other movies like The Hurt Locker, $1 Million Baby. Now, and then you mentioned Parasite. We're going really way back, but the precursor of it all wasn't consistent with these.
It's possible. And the other thing that really strikes me this year is that because we have this prolonged voting period, and the Olympics are responsible for that. It isn't always in March like this. March 15th is very late for the Oscars. It's usually late February or early March.
I remember 2020, it was February 9th.
Oh,
That was
can you
nice.
imagine?
Yeah, that was
Can
nice.
you
We'd be done.
imagine? Oh, we'd be long gone.
Yeah.
But what it means is that there was time for all these front runners to slack, to peak. There was time for other things to happen, like these awards having an impact during the voting period. And I have this weird feeling that Sinners could happen because of this.
Yeah, I mean...
And Timothée Chalamet could lose his lead.
Well, all right, well, let's talk about the acting.
So Chalamet, a lot of the people who are out there predicting still think he has a good chance. I think that everything we were talking about all season hurt him because people are talking about that. They're saying they didn't like the way he behaved. They're saying they don't like him.
Yeah, people have really turned on him, and I think he was too thirsty. He read as being kind of desperate for it, and
he's young.
People will see him as if he doesn't win this, it's like a Leonardo DiCaprio situation. He will get it eventually. He's very young now. It may not happen now. I think the feelings for him kind of started to curdle when he said at the SAG Awards last year, I want to be one of the greats. That kind of pomposity, I think, read people wrong. And it's been interesting to see he's really out there now. And
he's been trying to pull it back.
Yeah.
I mean, the interview with McConaughey was quite lovely, actually. I liked him in that interview. But it was interesting to me. He was questioning his choice of Wonka. Even though it did really well, it wasn't cool.
Yeah,
he's a little too worried about being cool.
It is. It's not good to be questioning your choices like that. I remember at the New York Film Festival after party of the secret screening, he just stayed at a table with Kylie Jenner the whole time. He wasn't working the room. And now, of course, you kind of see him I heard at the luncheon, he was taking all kinds of selfies with people. But he did all of these kind of publicity stunts, like getting whatever that...
The Sphere.
On the Sphere, yeah. I keep calling it the Dome. The Sphere, or it's like this rap video that he posted. And now, of course, you see him in very demure wares. And
yes, he completely changed his persona and in effect became inauthentic, I think.
He looked deflated when he did not win the SAG Award. And I feel like that moment when the camera is on you and you lose, that's when you really need to bring out the acting skills.
It's a very important skill, very important skill. So Michael B. Jordan, it would be very unusual for him to win. because he hasn't won anything else except SAG. So I really feel, though, that there is so much love for Sinners that this is the award they're going to give it.
Pub of the Year.
Yeah, I just don't see a world where there's going to be 4 white acting winners also, especially with the diversity that we've seen all year and the strength of Sinners, because if Timothée Chalamet wins, that's kind of what we would be looking at.
That's true. Jesse Buckley and all right, well, let's see what happens in the supporting categories. I'm betting on sentimental value still, and there's reasons for this, okay? So Stellan Skarsgård, he won at the Globes. He lost at the Critics' Choice to Jacob Elordi, which is a mainstream group. I'm a member, and I know who they are. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a member. I don't know if I intend to be one.
And then you have the SAG Awards where he wasn't even nominated. The BAFTAs, he lost to Sean Penn. Sean had never won at the BAFTAs, and they loved him, and they gave him the award. But we can count on the Academy seeing sentimental value. They gave it 9 Oscar nominations.
I think it could.
4 of them actors.
I think it could lose all of them.
Oh, so you don't think Stellan has a chance?
No, I think he has a chance. It's probably between Stellan and Sean Penn. It's funny, like, I can't think of the precedent for this at the Oscars, but in terms of Sean Penn, it's just like
he won twice already.
He did. These movies where it's like someone who's like a racist or abuser, it's like the person playing that always wins, rather than the actors playing the people that he's oppressing, which I find really interesting.
You should put on more makeup to make yourself look better. You go to a dance, you make an effort. You put on more makeup.
Yeah, no, he already has 2. It's just hard to imagine that Sean Penn's going to join the 3-time winners club.
Because people don't like him.
No.
They respect him. They know what a great actor he is. And you're right, he gives the showiest, scene-chewing performance you could hope for. Actors love that, and actors are the main group in the Academy. But I think that Stellan Skarsgård has been around for a long time. I mean, a lot of people have worked with him. Dune, a lot of the television work that he's done that's extraordinary, like Chernobyl. He's really he's been in so many different things, from the beginning of his career with Lars von Trier all the way through. He's I mean, think about that Dune villain. I mean, that was scary stuff.
Yeah, he should have been nominated for that.
Harkonnen. Yeah. Anyway, I think he's been around, and it's not like people don't know him.
Slutt å ringe. Jeg hører at du er full. Slutt å ringe.
Jeg ringer for at jeg bekymrer deg.
Ja, det har du ikke lov. Du har ikke lov til å være bekymret. Du har ikke lov.
Det er noe jeg har lest om bare.
Hvorfor det? Det kommer ikke til å bli noe av uansett.
Does he have the heat right now? No, he doesn't. But that doesn't mean they won't vote for him.
All right, well, I accept that.
You're gonna go with Penn.
I'm going to go with Penn.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have...
Supporting actress.
Okay, what's your bet?
I'm going to say Amy Madigan. Her speech at the SAG Awards was really charming. She was nominated in 1985, so she's almost
40 years ago.
She's almost the record holder for the longest period. Yeah, exactly. One thing maybe working against her, I don't know. It's kind of an underseen movie, and it's the only nomination for Weapons. But
it didn't even get makeup.
No, it didn't, or screenplay, which you kind of saw that pop up in some other places. But I pulled some winners of movies where it was the only nomination that they also won, which was Julianne Moore for Still Alice. Of course, that's Julianne Moore.
And that was Best Actress.
Christopher Plummer for Beginners. Penelope Cruz for Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Forrest Whitaker for Last King of Scotland, and Marissa Tomei also for My Cousin Vinny.
That was one of the great shockers. Yeah, at the time. Yeah. No, I think Amy Madigan won. She won at Critics' Choice, and she won at SAG, and I think that this is a winning momentum that will continue, and I agree with you. I think she'll take it.
Oh, no, it's not serious. Nothing terminal. It's just a touch of consumption.
A touch of consumption?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say, I guess I don't really know what that means. I thought it was something settlers got on the Oregon Trail. What is it, tuberculosis?
You know what? They are doing just fine, but they need to stay home.
And the reason for that is that Tiana Taylor hasn't happened. And maybe the coattails that we all expected are going to lend themselves to Sean Penn. I have a theory about Tiana Taylor that is extraordinary as she is in the movie, as iconic. I think that word is overused, but it might be appropriate for her. Do you agree?
I agree, yeah. And it's a word I overuse all the time.
We shouldn't use it,
No.
either of us.
No, but I do, and I need to.
But there's something that people are there about her character, the great Perfidia Beverly Hills, that make people uncomfortable. It's a sexualized character.
Yeah, well, she's kind of explained that in some interviews and, kind of recontextualized it, but it may have been too late. The other thing is that her character obviously is only in the beginning of the movie, and she peaks in the beginning of the movie, and then she gives this voiceover in terms of this letter that's shared with her daughter at the end, but she's not in very much of the film.
It may be that this is a Paul Thomas Anderson show more than anything, and not the actors from One Battle After Another, which is a sign of weakness, which could lead to sinners.
Winning. Exactly.
So is Wunmi Masako? So I interpreted her win at Wunmi Masako's win at BAFTA as a local win, and it didn't repeat at SAG. Do you think it could repeat at the Oscars?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we're going with Amy Madigan. Yeah. Okay, we're both agreed on that. Okay, so for the rest of the crafts, you can basically go down the line with the BAFTAs. Frankenstein should take care of makeup, costume, and production design. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't have much interesting to say about the craft races, which are going to, other than cinematography and editing, I think are going to be really predictable. Obviously, sound, I think that's going to be F1.
Sonny, push! You'll be one!
Apex GP has only one lap to go. The question is, do they have the car?
We have the driver.
Yeah! Go on, Sonny!
I agree with that.
What do you think? VFX, the
Surratt
Avatar.
is a shot. There are people who like Surratt, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's enough.
No, that would be really interesting if it won. Visual effects, both Avatar movies have won this category. I expect that to repeat. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that, no
Yeah.
question. That's going to be the one win for Fire and Ash. The thing about sound, though, is that you can have a Whiplash or a Sound of Metal or
That's
a
right,
Zone
Sound of
of
Metal. I
Interest
forgot about that.
winning in
Yeah.
that category, even though they're smaller. Usually it's the big noisy movie, and that's what we're thinking of with F1. The
That's
big
a good
noisy
point.
movie.
That's a very good
but,
point.
So Surratt is a possibility if enough people saw it. I doubt that they did, honestly, because that's an international film. But so is Zone of Interest.
And Sound of Metal was a very small movie also, even though it was Amazon.
Yeah, so that covers most of the so international. Sentimental value?
I don't know.
You
I
think
think
it's
the
Secret Agent?
I do. What? Okay, well, there's a world where also it could be it was just an accident
No.
due to recent events. You
I
don't think so?
I can tell you from the beginning, I felt, even though it won the Palme d'Or and people admire him and he's extraordinary and the stories he has to tell are horrifying, and this situation in Iran is horrifying, obviously. We're very upset. He's very upset. He probably is happy that the Ayatollah Khomeini got killed. There are a lot of people who are rejoicing in that particular turn of
And the
events.
feelings are very complex
Yeah.
about that. Absolutely.
نه واقعا دیگه بسه لابدم الان این داره میگه من چرا ذوق عروسیمو ندارم برای اینکه وقتی از زندان اومدم بیرون اون کثافت شایعه کرد که من باشون همکاری کردم تا این بیرونم برام بشه یه زندون بزرگتر من خواستم امروز تو اینجا باشی تو هر چیزی که باید بدونی را ذهن همین دیوس بشنوی
The bottom line is, did they like the movie? And I think they admired the movie.
Yeah, it's not a warm film in the way that I would say that obviously sentimental value kind of envelops you in good feelings in the end. And even The Secret Agent, which is very sad, also does that as well, just by virtue of Wagner Moura's presence. And don't forget, he's nominated. But then, of course, sentimental value has multiple nominees. Yeah, and 4 acting nominees. So,
And then Sentimental
You were-
Value and Secret Agent are the 2, as opposed to It Was Just an Accident, that are nominated for Best Picture.
right.
So that's a big deal. And Secret Agent also was nominated for casting, which is also a big deal, I think.
Yeah, I don't know the makeup of Brazilians in the Academy, but I'm just going off of the fervor around I'm Still Here, which I know some of that had to do with the fall of Emilia Perez, but Brazilians know how to help mount a grassroots Oscar campaign. Not that Neon didn't know what it had on
No,
its
I've been
hands
told
there.
that this grows into more of a Latin American thing, or it extends to Spanish speakers everywhere. It isn't just Brazil. I've been told that there's a big block that could be voting for Secret Agent, and it's very popular. But at the same time, it's a quieter, more ruminative, thoughtful movie. They don't always go that way.
And even a little experimental, I would say.
I
There's a
agree.
lot of cinematic references. There's a lot of stylistic flourishes and different modes and genres that Kleber Mendonça Filho is kind of speaking in.
Eu matava ele com martelo.
Tu anda armado?
Não, mas eu sei usar martelo.
Whereas Sentimental Value, it's like it aims for the heart and it's very accessible.
It's a family drama, and it's a father-daughter drama, and it's also about a filmmaker, trying to come back. There's a lot of things for people to relate to there, and it's just extraordinary filmmaking.
Yeah, you've got a lot of hope in Sentimental Value, so I admire that. I'm going with Secret Agent.
All right. I know that there's a surge for Secret Agent, but part of why that is recency bias. I think a lot of people are catching up with it at the end of the day. So we'll see if enough of them saw it.
Finally, we got Best Documentary. It's going to be The Perfect Neighbor.
It's going to be The Perfect Neighbor.
No question.
Sheriff's office, come outside with your hands up! This is the Marion County Sheriff's Office, come outside with your hands up!
If there was one movie that would catch up with it, Mr. Nobody Against Putin,
Oh, sure, yeah.
which won the BAFTA,
Right.
is wonderful
Yeah,
and
fair
lovely.
enough. Yeah, no, this will be one of the handful of Netflix wins, and the first documentary of theirs that's won since My Octopus Teacher, which if there's ever an Oscar that should be rescinded,
Stop.
it's going to be that one.
It was so popular. I remember everyone was talking about it that year. It was funny.
People had pandemic goggles on.
I think there was a backlash after that. It was like no more Netflix for a long time. But this is beyond Netflix. This is about Geeta Gambhir and the extraordinary police cam approach that
The
she took.
filmmaking and the editing and the compilation
subject.
is
yeah,
excellent.
everything is in its favor. And it got an enormous bump. Even though it was hugely popular already, after the nomination, it soared on Netflix in terms of popularity.
And it's always done really well on Netflix because, and Geeta Gambhir talks about this, there's a bit of a bait and switch of the movie and that these true crime documentaries are extremely popular on Netflix. I watch a great number of them. They're mostly just slop, and a lot of them employ AI even lately in this disturbing way.
Oh, they do these recreations of people's voices
talking
that I think
heads
are
of-
really scary.
Really scary. And so, but this movie is not really a true crime documentary. It's something else. It's more of a social justice documentary and an interrogation of police work. And that bait and switch that they achieve very effectively, and it worked because it's been really popular on the streaming platform.
So did we do all the categories?
I think we did it all,
All right,
except
next
for
week
shorts.
we'll do the shorts. So the elephant in the room is the impact of the new voting rules. And I'm hearing that especially older voters, so what it is that they go in to make their ballot. And also the Academy has been sending people alerts that they haven't seen all the movies in a given category. Like, hey, you haven't seen all the documentaries yet. So in a way, I think that's great. I do. I want them. I know from doing all these anonymous ballots how many people do not see all the films in a category. They see one movie and vote for it. It's terrible. And so now there's a little bit of an awareness that that's what they're supposed to do. But they don't have to tell the truth.
No, and so basically their ballot, that category is grayed out, right? If they haven't watched everything, is that how it works?
They have to put in a claim that they've seen the movie in a specific place. They have to say where they saw it.
And is that
so? That's online. That's a ballot thing. So they have to qualify for each category. This is at least how I understand it, and it gets complicated. They go in and out. It's a little bit technological. Even someone I know who's very tech savvy, who's a member, had trouble with it. And then another member of mine who had no trouble with it at all.
Yeah, how do you corroborate that on the Academy side? You really don't. And
and you can just put it on the portal and play
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Go wash the dishes.
Exactly.
Just put the
Do
Brutalist
the
on and
laundry.
come back in 3.5 hours.
Well, that's the situation. But some people are saying that there are going to be fewer older voters voting, which could be bad.
And but these older voters, these are the ones that maybe they're not watching everything to begin with. They see one movie and they're voting
These
for
are the
it.
ones who have time to see everything. I don't know. And let me put it another way. A lot of people are suggesting that given the complexity of the balloting this year, the voters may skew younger.
Yeah, I'm heartened by a few months ago, Oscar also ran, Ariana Grande said that she, of course, watches every movie on the platform because she is a voting member of the Academy. So I'm hoping that the young voters like her are as fastidious about it.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. I want everybody to take it seriously. Many people do. Many people do, but many people don't. I heard one guy voted for Best Picture and was so flummoxed by the whole thing that he just tossed out the rest. He voted for one category.
It's very unfortunate. Thank you for joining us for Screen Talk in person with me and Anne this week. Next week, we're going to talk about Project Hail Mary as the embargo on the Ryan Gosling starring sci-fi movie will finally have lifted. And we also will talk about Pixar's return to form Hoppers, which is in theaters this weekend.
See you then.